Taking stock of the situation, you yourself are unharmed. The Kenku sees you slay the goblin and then takes one look at you and then continues to run away. So, do you let them go or do you stop them? So you call out towards this individual, attempting to get them to slow down and stick with you, at least for the time being. I'm going to need a persuasion check. Go, Turk! With a 12. Okay, so your persuasion is a -2, bringing it to 10. At this point in time, you notice as this individual seems to do a double take, seemingly actually stopping for a moment and then leading around the banister to the stairs. However, decides to continue walking up and out of sight. Taking a look at the corridor now that you've left the combat, you feel fairly confident, given the noise happening outside, that you have not alerted any extra attention from any floor above, as you wait a couple of minutes just to see what happens. The area itself, you can see that there are a total of 6 doors down this corridor. You hope one of them may contain your equipment and your weapons. So, immediately you search the bodies. With that, you recover a series of simple weapons, a mixture of short swords and scimitars, enough to arm your group. You decide that what you want to do is wake up these prisoners that you've now secured, ironically, in their own cell, that they had probably placed you in earlier that day, and start to ask them some questions. Okay, where is our stuff? Okay, so the dwarven individual seems a little bit too stubborn to talk. But the human pirate left behind, a seemingly fairly young lad, scruffy-haired and not very well kept. And he seems to be too scared to try and mislead you or refuse your answer in any way. He lets you know that your belongings are currently in door number 3. Opening door 3, you move up, lifting the bar that secures that door from the outside where you are, and you see that in door 3 is in fact a large storeroom where there's a massive amount of weaponry, armor, and other such belongings that is currently being stashed in this space. With that, you regain all of your equipment as listed on the character sheet. This includes your own short swords and your longbow, as well as your quiver. Okay, so currently at the top, we have asking behind all doors. So, I am going to need actually, no, we'll go with, either an intimidation or persuasion check. We'll decide when we get into it. Okay, with an 18, it is -2. So, it's a very good thing that you rolled very high. You move back towards the guards. You interrogate them further, and eventually, this individual, reluctantly, to the best of their ability, what they are aware is behind these doors. Behind door number 1 are a number of siege weapons that are currently packed into the room. I'll say that you confirm most of these as you are looking through. Behind door number 2, unsurprisingly, you are aware of this. The lion is currently feasting on the shredded remains that it's managed to pull through the gap in the wall. There is a lion. Behind door number 4, you are told there are a series of other animals that are being kept captive for transport and resale at their destination. Behind door number 5 is a storage room. Not anything of particular use to you, but cannonballs. And behind number 6, this individual kind of shakes and nervously responds to the contents. There is a particular prisoner that is being escorted of the utmost importance. This person doesn't know the name. All they know is what they were told, and that was to not talk to them ever. You are told that the animals within the cages in door number 4, a giant maggot, wolf, a owlbear cub, a spider, and there was a giant badger. They are currently caged. Apparently no one checked on them for a little while. Make him open door 4. All right, so you bring this individual with you, and you force him to open the door to door number 4, revealing a series of cages lining the back wall. You see more or less what you expected. However, you immediately are greeted with the scent, pungent as it is, of decay. And as you look into the room, you can see that several of these creatures are actually dead. Best you can tell from a distance, both the maggot and the wolf have been killed, assumedly by creatures in the cages next to them, adjacent to them. It is entirely up to you if you would like to free one of these animals. You can also leave them if you prefer. I am going to be transparent in that if you choose to take one of these creatures, it will become your animal companion, and when you reach level 3, you will become a Beastmaster Hunter. If you do not want to take that option, you can simply leave them here, or set them free to run rampant on the ship. I was prepared for this as a potential situation, so you can vote Badger, Owlbear, or Spider. The Owlbear doesn't look this scary. This is an adult Owlbear. This one is much cuter and seemingly less deadly at this point in time. Both the giant badger and the giant spider are pretty formidable. You are aware that the owlbear cub, as it is now, is probably a little bit more vulnerable, but it will probably grow to be the stronger of the 3 if it survives. Votes closed pretty unanimously. Owlbear wins. So I will give you this option, chat. You can still set the other animals free if you want to. Okay, so we are going to free the animals. I am going to need an animal handling check, chat. Owenster, welcome to the channel. Here's your roll, my friend. Okay, Owenster with a 7, which brings us to a total of 10. I am going to do some counter rolls to see which actually succeed in realizing that you're not immediately a threat to them. Okay, so with that, I'm not going to roll initiative for this. But the badger very slowly exits from the cage. You free the owlbear cub, but the spider, upon being freed from the cage, instantly goes to attack you. However, it doesn't take much between your group as they are now to slay the creature, unfortunately having to put the spider down as it did not seem to recognize that you were not a threat to it. The badger just kind of scurries past you. Okay, so, simplicity's sake, I'm going to ask a question here. Are you going to attempt to talk to the person behind door 6? Or are you going to take the stairs? Okay, seems pretty unanimous. So you move up towards the door. Trenk at this point taking station halfway up the stairs, just making sure that nobody else is coming. You speak out, asking if anybody is there. You hear the shifting of some kind of creature. You imagine reasonably large within the space as you hear these footsteps that are a mix of kind of like a heavy thud and a little bit of a scrape approaching the door. As you hear a voice murmuring through. Hello? Hello, is somebody there? You obviously respond to say that you are here. You are prisoners on this ship. You ask this individual who they are. And this kind of whispering, kind of unsettling, creepy voice speaks through. My name is Theon. Why don't you go ahead and open that door for me, will you? What do you do, chat? Challenge with riddle. It was only a matter of time before this happened, I feel like. I mean, you know, it's Twitch Plays D&D. What are you going to do, right? So, seemingly trying to test this creature's intelligence, you ask it a fairly simple riddle. You ask it, what is something that dampens as it dries? Let's do a check. Oh, okay, dude. All right. So, this individual goes silent for a couple of seconds and then says, a towel. It's a towel, isn't it? Yes, it's a towel. It's a towel. Now, enough of this nonsense. Let me out. What would you like to do? You can obviously check insight, maybe to try and get some sort of, well, insight into this creature's demeanor, whether or not they may be immediately dangerous to you. But bear in mind, you can only hear them at this point. There's nothing that you can see. Crazy kittens! Here's with that dice roll. Well, your modifier is +5, so it's a total of 11. You feel as though this creature, even within the conversation you've been having in the past 20 seconds or so in game time, seems to be getting increasingly impatient. So you know that this person is at the very least quick to change their attitude. With that, with leave and peepo sprint, we're going to surmise that those are basically the same thing in this case. And you decide to slowly back away from the door. And as you do so, you immediately hear a loud banging on the steel door. And you feel the hinges shaking, the vibrations carrying down into the floor as this individual starts cursing at you in a language that you don't understand as you begin to walk up the stairs. As you enter the next layer, you are starting to hear now, as you are further up, the murmurs of activity somewhere above you, and also past the door beyond. Wherever you are on this ship, you're definitely not at the top, but you can tell by now, given the sounds that you are hearing, that you are merely a floor away from the deck. And you're also aware that there is an exit from this space on the left and also on the right. Name Albert? Okay, that's fair enough. That makes perfect sense. So, let's refresh the poll again. Oh god, don't name it after me. No, chat, what are you doing? Owlden. Yeah, there you go. It's perfect. Change your votes, chat. Change your votes. Okay, I think we can say unanimously that Alden has worked. So, I will rename it right now. Alden. I'll even write it underneath. Hang on. Okay. So you begin walking in this direction. As you proceed, you very quickly see that there is a long corridor, in front of you, and seemingly inspecting or crouching next to a cannon is another pirate. You're currently at the corner, and this individual doesn't seem to have noticed you. This area itself is dimly lit with lanterns that sway back and forth. You realize it will be hard for you to sneak past this individual. You could ambush them, you could try to distract them, but this is a very narrow space. Okay, so you attempt to lure this individual over your direction by calling out to them. You seem to catch their attention. They turn. You're currently out of sight at this point in time, and you wait, ready to ambush. You hear shouting from somewhere further down the corridor, somebody asking, "Hey, why are you leaving your post?" And this individual just goes, just give me a second. Just give me a second. He just waves them off. You are aware that there is somebody else further down this corridor. As this individual gets close, what do you do, chat? What's the vote? Pull around corner. Okay. So, I'm going to need a athletics check. Zach, sock again. Zach, hit us with the roll, my dude. I'll do my roll as well. Okay. You're going to need to beat a 14. You do it with a total of 16. You yoink them around the corner and out of sight. As you cover their mouth, it doesn't seem as though you have attracted the attention of whoever else is further down the corridor. So what would you like to do, chat? You have this person in your grasp. The majority voting for execute. Realizing that you have very little choice at this point, If you want to try and get out of here without drawing too much attention, it may not be the best course of action to keep tying people up. It takes a lot of time, and the more backtracking you do, the more likely it is that you're going to encounter somebody on the way there. You draw a dagger, and you stab just into the side of the chest, enough to pierce through into the lung. It's a quiet death, but still nonetheless a fairly painful one, as this person gasps for air, and you gently lie them in the corner of this space. As you look around the corner, you notice this second individual, and you also see what seems to be a space that opens up past them. What would you like to do? Currently, it's tied between stealth and bow attack, chat. I'm going to need you to break this tie. The first tie breaker will be the option that we take. Well, okay, bow attack. There we go. You're aware that this individual is well within the range of your bow. Peek around the corner. Ready an arrow. Launch it down the corridor. I'm going to need an attack roll from chat. Ciaran, 4 plus 7 is 11. You do not, unfortunately, hit this creature. However, it only just misses this individual as they duck behind, not aware of the attack, purely out of luck, ducking down behind the cannon which they are currently inspecting. They hear the arrow go over their head, looking behind them, seeing it scatter to the ground after impacting the rear wall, but not at an angle to pierce it. As this individual looks down the corridor, doesn't see you as you've backed back around the corner, but then you immediately hear them running. What do you do? Okay, so opting to give chase, we are going to roll initiative. Slippy 313. Slippy, hit us with that roll. 18. It's big, dude. So with a 23, first to act, you give chase. You dash with your action instead of attacking because you cannot see this target. Okay, so you are at this point able to see the target. You see further up, there is another one of these cannon runners, and you see that there is also a door to which this individual appears to be running. It then brings us to Trenk's turn. Following suit, doesn't get quite as far as you. Bobuk does the same, hobbling along, gets about to where you are. Owlbear casually strolls along behind you, doesn't really understand the urgency of the situation. Then brings us to this runner's turn, runs towards the door, and starts rattling the door. Apparently the door itself is locked. Starts to bang on it, yelling. One thing that you pick up on, this person seems to be calling someone's name, asking them to open the door. And the name that they call is Bobuk. That would bring us back to the top again with your turn, chat. As you turn to look behind you, you notice that at the calling of this name, the turtle appears to be reinvigorated, a new look of focus on their face. What would you like to do, chat? Okay, so choosing to attack then, I need an attack roll. Elok again! Elok, give us the attack roll, please. 15! So with a total of 22, your arrow strikes true, impacting straight between the shoulder blades, it seems, of this individual. It doesn't seem to go as deep as you imagine, but the creature kind of slams up against the wall and just barely seems to be able to keep themselves standing from the attack, as you do 9 points of damage to it and have almost killed it instantly. You decide to hold your position, taking cover behind the cannon as it stands in front of you. That would then bring us to quote-unquote Bobuk, who is going to, it's going to rush up to this door, hearing this person's name being shouted. This pirate turns then, looking at the towering turtle behind them, is just freaking out and kind of stumbles away from the door. Bobuk does not attack this individual as they back away from the door, tripping and stumbling as they go. Bobuk is going to attempt to break the door, slamming their fists on the door twice, kicking it in. The door shatters and Bobok moves inside and currently out of your line of sight. At the start of the initiative, something happens. You hear loud cries from above deck, and you hear a loud booming sound in the distance. The unmistakable sound of a cannon shot. One by one, cannon shots impact the side of the ship, zooming past you, one on either side, fortunately far enough away that you don't suffer any direct effect of the blow, but blasting through several layers now of the ship, going closer into the center. You are momentarily deafened, but are otherwise fine.